Yes, thank you. One minute.
I know this may not be for you, but for me the best thing has been the medical marijuana. I have two different things
See,
that
but
I
I
take.
can't do that because I work with the federal government and work on security stuff,
Yeah,
and that violates my security clearance.
Honestly, it's been a life
My
changer.
wife told me the same thing. She goes, "Why don't you try marijuana?" I said, "I can't. I work for the National Guard."
There's this THC bound.
Okay.
It's my rules.
Good evening. It's so wonderful to see so many people here and so many service oriented people. Thank you for all being here, for being here to be supports and being here for being part of our force. It's awesome. Thank you. We welcome you. Tonight we have Councilmember Jacob, Councilmember Green, Councilmember Whitelock, Councilmember Bloom, Councilmember Pack, Councilmember McConaughey, and joining us online is Councilmember Worthen. We're grateful that you're here. This evening we will start with a Pledge of Allegiance by Deputy Chief Robertson.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Next up is our public comment time. We ask that if you wish to address the council, you'll have 3 minutes to do so. We invite you to participate either by coming up to the podium or you can join us via online. If you're on phone, push *9. If you are on Zoom, just raise your hand in the chat. I see no one. So I will close public comments and move on with our special presentations. Tonight we have an accreditation presentation by Val Shoup, and Chief Valentine is here. It's to give us better information than I have, I'm sure. Right.
There we go. I'll actually let Chief Shoup share the information. This is Chief Val Shoup, retired Chief of South Ogden, who serves as the Executive Director of the Utah Chiefs of Police Association and has asked for some time tonight to come and make a presentation of accreditation. So I'll turn the time over to Val.
Thank you, Chief. Council and Mayor, it's a pleasure to be here on behalf of the Utah Chiefs of Police Association. As you're well aware, your chief is the president of our association. He didn't get any special consideration here, though. We made him go through the whole process, so it works out good. Give you an idea of just what the accreditation is. The accreditation is sponsored by the Utah Chiefs of Police Association. We are one of the 38 members across the United States that has an accreditation program. There are 175 standards in that program that they have to meet. And not only do they have to meet, they have to show to the assessors when they come in that it's in the policy, and they have to give an example. And it's for state law, federal law, city ordinances. And we have a meeting every year right after the state legislature to make sure that there are updates in those standards. They are required to submit a report each year in January that they have met the updates and that they are continuing on with their accreditation program. It's a great program. What it does is allow our cities, we have right now 24 cities that are accredited. 5 of those are major cities, and we have the Utah Department of Public Safety who's in the process of doing the same thing with the Utah Chiefs of Police Association, which we're excited about that. And we have 18 agencies that are in the process of the accreditation process. So it's a good program. It's one that is tedious. Chief Wallentyne was extremely diligent in his efforts to get this done. He understood the importance of this, and we're more than happy to be here to make that presentation. So Chief Wallentyne, if you can come up, let's let you know this says, I'm going to put my glasses on so I can read it.
I can relate to that.
In recognition for the completion of the standards for certification and accreditation as prescribed and mandated by the Utah Chiefs of Police Association, October 2022, West Jordan Police Department. Congratulations, Chief.
Thanks, Chief. I forget you can't see from,
Councilmember Jacob couldn't. Oh, okay,
I feel kind of like Vanna White.
there you go.
I feel like an A. Yeah, we both have hits. That's about it. This is actually, I'll just confirm a couple things Chief said. We got no.
Microphone, Chief, please.
I recently spoke to a church group, a very large church group, put the microphone, nobody needed the microphone for me.
We're recording
But I remember
the
now
meeting.
we're on Zoom. But we didn't get any special consideration. I think the flip side, we actually were held to the standards right down the line. Kevin Thacker, who's our executive officer, couldn't be here tonight. He and his wife are vacationing in Italy. I asked him to fly back. He said no. He did a lot of work, as did our deputy chiefs. But for the council and for the citizens in West Jordan, what this means is this is the gold standard. It is the signature, if you will, of an organization that's been around here in this state for many, many decades and says these are the folks that meet all of the criteria to be the gold standard of police agencies in Utah. And it was a lot of work, but I'm glad that we've accomplished this benchmark. Incidentally, it's not a one and done. You have to keep being reaccredited every few years. But very proud of our officers, and I'm very proud that they can work in an accredited agency and have that benefit. So thank you to Chief Shoup, and thanks to the council for that time for presentation. And if it's all right with you.
Can I get a picture of you two with the?
Sure. Yeah. Yeah.
Now, Chief, do you have a couple of badge pinnings?
Yeah. Can I go ahead and do that?
Yes, please.
Madam Chairperson, so thank you. Yes, we haven't had the opportunity to be in front of the council for a while for badge pinning, so we actually have 14 tonight, so that's a couple.
Hey, we're happy.
All right, I'll run down the list real quickly and then ask them to, as I call your name, if you would, go ahead and just come up here, and there's no way to avoid standing in front of the council, sorry, at least for now, so.
We expect that, by the way.
Yep, Lieutenant James Kangas. Lieutenant Monson has recently been promoted, but could not be here tonight. He's wearing one of those funky boots from an injury. Sergeant Scott Elison, Mike Jones, Gary Christensen, Nick Delamy, and Kendall Holt.
Hey, give them long enough to hear their name, okay? Go a little bit slower.
If they can't hear their name that quick, then they need to go work
Well,
for,
but
say,
look, there's
Taylorsville
wives,
Police
there's
or some
grandchildren.
third-rate department.
There may be great grandchildren.
Yeah.
All right. Turning to the officers. Boy, we've got some really new officers. Doesn't necessarily mean they're all new in the profession. Benjamin Crisp, Taylor Griffith, who's here with his wife, who is wearing a blue uniform that would perfectly fit. Okay, Taylor just told me she's wearing a gun too. I'm not too worried. I taught her in the academy. Austin Larson, Aaliyah Mason, Caleb Money, Trevor Newland. Trevor, we're going to have to start a second row there, brother. Jordan Schultz, Caden Strasters, Jordan Whitwer, and Erica Wood. Thanks. We all sucked in there. Now I'm just curious, have you all given instruction? Who's wearing a vest at all of you? Okay, so Lee's got a vest on, she's good. Okay. So the rest of you, I hope you've given instructions. The pin goes downward in the uniform, it doesn't go straight through. Taylor, you may be the one that we need to worry about. I don't know, brother, just based on. So if you'd like to invite the person that is going to pin you to come up, the ones on the front, we can either scrunch together, but come forward just a little bit, give people a little bit of room to maneuver. Who some of these folks I know. We've got a sister who could potentially be a cop. Now, for those of you that are applying the badge, the pin goes downward. This is not torture, okay? This is a ceremonial pinning of the badge, and you can go ahead and add that badge to their uniform when you're ready. Now see, Officer Crisp got one of the new shirts with the little eyelets. That makes it much, much easier, brother. Simple instruction.
I wouldn't wear a vest like that unless I bought the shirt. It's kind of too cool.
Okay, now, poke it through the shirt. Don't poke it through Daddy, okay? Daddy has to go to work later.
When I say my army uniform, and we had
It doesn't matter if he would like to come up and do it. We're more than happy to let him do it. We'll forgive you this one time. How long have you been with West Bountiful?
Exact same amount of time she has. We went to Slick together.
Well, would you like to fix that? I knew he'd say that, but we'll talk afterwards.
Officers, when you're done with your pinning, we would
All right.
like you to stay up here so that we can shake
We're
your
gonna take
hands and take a picture.
Once your badges are on, we're going to take a picture and we'll have the council come out from behind the table, and it'll be a bit of a challenge, so stay up here. We all, Chairperson Whitelock, I think we're ready. If the council wants to come out and figure out how we'll crowd in.
So do we just want to go down the line and shake their hands? You want to?
You could do whatever you would like to do.
We're kind of in charge. You're here.
I wasn't going to say that, but yes.
I don't think you like to feel like it.
No, I just don't.
Yes.
I actually got pinned a while ago there, Chris. We're good. Thanks. And then after we do the pictures, we've got some cookies and refreshments. We would love to see all the little kids in the room have 2 cookies each and have a little bit of sugar rush. I'm a grandpa. I don't have to put the kids to bed anymore, so just saying. And yes, ma'am, on that side of the room, who I will not look at, I did get the dirty look. You don't have to give your kid cookies. It's cool. Cindy, how are you going to do the
Come right back.
picture here?
I think I can slip in with on this end. See, Dirk will fit next to me. Alan, does that work?
You're surrounded by people who listen to me, Mayor. That's probably not a wise thing. Thank you. Thank you. Keith Maxfield's already stepped this up.
Thank you for letting us work here and service here.
if you're here for our officers, we'd love to invite you upstairs to even if you don't want cookies or something to drink, you're welcome to come up and mingle. I'll be up there. I'd love to meet any of the family members who would like to chat for a minute. And if you've got, what I really would appreciate, if you got any wild stories or any blackmail information, I can put that in their file. That'd be helpful. So thanks for coming.
He's the best. Are we starting to have a competition with who the tallest guy is on the police department? I like your thinking, though.
Smart man.
Do we want to just, I guess we could just sit here. Thank you. Have a great night.
Thank you.
Thanks for being here. All these kids are going, what the heck? Why did we have, Mom, why did we have to come? That was all worth it because you saw yourself on the camera.
I grew up with Eric.
I am.
You listen?
Scott?
Yes.
Yes.
Yep.
Okay.
Hi, guys.
Well, it's good to see you.
Did you have fun trick-or-treating last night? Good for you. Well, yeah, but there's the parent test on the candy. So, that's right. Or the ones that you like. Whether it's peanut butter cups or M&M's or whatever. Yeah. We always have the parent tax. Didn't you have the parent tax?
And now we're empty. So Kelvin, my injection, he actually was looking for the root cause.
Good.
So he wants his number.
All right. As soon as the mayor and Mr. Lee are ready, we'll proceed with that portion of our agenda.
Anything. So maybe I'll talk to you too.
Because he specializes in hips. The one I'm going to, yeah.
Somebody's here besides, wow, we have 3 people back there that are here for something else. I'm impressed. 4.
Unless it's a school assignment. Looks like it's a school assignment.
Hey, you know what?
Are you West Jordan Jaguars? Hear from your history teacher, huh? What's her name? Huh? Lloyd? Oh, Mr. Lloyd. Ah, new teacher, still doing same assignment. Well, welcome. We're happy to have you.
You know what we need to do is we need to send a letter to Mr. Lloyd. That's great.
Chair,
Yes.
before we begin, can I have 2 seconds?
Yes, you may.
So those of you from West Jordan, if you get a moment, please stop by the office and say hi to Kathy McConaughey, secretary. It's my mom. So I'm not sure if she's watching tonight, but if you see me wave at you, turn around and wave at the camera so that she'll see that you're here and she can vouch for you when you get back tomorrow.
All right, Mayor.
Thank you, Council Chair. What a great way to have a meeting begin. Thank you for hosting our police officers and letting them receive their promotions and their badge pinnings. It may have only been a week, but lots happened in this past week because a great holiday happened this past week, which was Halloween, right? And Halloween was great. That gave me lots of opportunities to hang out and meet some people. I got to attend 3 different elementary schools and join them in their parades. And as I was doing that, I got to see our officers, their officer there, who was also participating as a police officer, actually. So that was good. Also, the Jags had their party too, right? Did you guys go to the Jags party over the Halloween party? Oh, well, I went to it. And they had a fantastic turnout. And my costume this year was Uncle Sam. and I was quite surprised how many students don't know who Uncle Sam is. Do you guys know who Uncle Sam is? Oh, good. So a couple more people now know who Uncle Sam is because that was what my costume was this year. And earlier today, I had the privilege of being interviewed by a couple of 11-year-old Boy Scouts who came in, met me in my office, and interviewed me and asked me some fun questions. They were quite surprised when I showed them my schedule for a day on what a mayor does, and they were amazed that somebody could have that much on their calendar. They thought they were busy. Okay, and I also went to a couple of neighborhood parties. I went to one over on the west side of our city and joined them at a Halloween party that they had. And then a council member gave me a call, said their neighborhood was having a party, so I went to there. That was Council Member McConaughey, and so I joined their neighborhood party for a little bit. They had a few hundred people over there. It was a great turnout, so thank you, Council Member, for that invitation to come and join you there. Some things that are coming up. We have our e-waste coming up. Our e-waste and shred day, that'll be November 5th. We have our Veterans Day program coming up, which is November 11th, of course. And then I also have an opportunity. The Jordan River Commission is providing an award ceremony they're doing coming up, and they've asked me to MC that as the chair of the Jordan River Commission. So we've got that coming up. The Utah League of Cities and Towns has a meeting with the mayors of the first and second class cities. West Jordan is a first class city, just in case you don't know. That has to do with size in most cases, but before we were big enough to be a first class city, we were first class anyway, just so you know, because we're West Jordan. And then we also have coming up is the West Jordan's Fire Department Annual Awards Banquet. And Westland Elementary School is having a Veterans Day parade and assembly coming up that they invited me to come to. And the Cultural Arts Society of West Jordan is having their talent show and silent auction at the Viridian coming up on November 12th. So hopefully you can come and make it there and join them with that. And another fantastic event coming up later today is Councilmember McConaughey has asked me to give him a ride home. And that is my report.
Okay. Mr. Lee.
Mayor, are you gonna do that on your bike or did you bring your truck tonight? Chris, you're in trouble.
Thanks.
Seeing as my right is here.
Thank you, Chair. We have two reports I'd like to give you. One, an update from Isaac about our temporary city hall accommodations. And secondly, an update from Ms. Steck about the clinic we are working on.
Council, I'm sorry, I'm sure you're tired of hearing from me every week. We have, Corbin sent out an email earlier tonight about the NBS building that is at 8523 South Redwood Road. The lease was officially signed and sent over to us on Monday, so yesterday was our first day officially there, but our staff have been over there working hard for the last couple weeks. There's an empty lot as part of this property that had a lot of overgrown trees and weeds. They've taken care of that. We've removed some of the signs from the building already. The other signs that are on the building will be they'll be refaced with city logo so people know where we're at, and we'll make sure that it's marked as a temporary location, not a permanent city location. But the facility itself, it was a blessing in disguise, really. We found some other options that just weren't going to fit, but they were options that we needed to consider because there weren't a lot of options. But this building, we're going to have approximately 19,000 square feet on the first and second floor to use. We're building a temporary customer counter for the passport and customer service area. As you can see on the pictures, the building is in pretty decent shape. The carpets are dirty. The IT was basically cut off as they left. So our IT departments worked tremendously hard over there to try and figure out how we can get service there quickly. one of the challenges we're looking at right now is the service providers are 6 to 8 weeks out on getting internet service to us. But I want to give a shout out to Robert, our IT director, because of his connections. He's able to expedite some of those things. So we won't have a dual internet system right away, but that'll come up a couple weeks after we get everybody over there with some wireless internet intermingled with that. We would like to invite you guys to come over there. If you can come over before the next council meeting, or if there's another time that would work better for any of you, please let me know and we'll get over there and open that up and walk you through the building. I should have taken some befores because I didn't, and there's a lot of work that's been done by parks, facilities, electrical, IT. We've had the attorney's office over there. Well, we've had every department over there looking to see what they need and give us their input up front so we can get things built in and ready. So this will be a quick transition, get people into a comfortable space that'll work well for the remainder of this project. The good news is that talking with our contractor, the one benefit of this is we will see about a 60-day savings in the by vacating City Hall. That it'll allow them to start phase 2 of the project that wasn't planned until the end of the project, move everybody else over and then finish that last part. So basically, next summer we'll be able to slowly transition everybody over. It'll give us plenty of time to do the walkthroughs and the repairs and things as things happen in the end of the project. But it'll be a smooth process. And again, this has to be the most economical process I've ever been able to fall into because it really is a blessing in disguise. We're only paying for utilities and O&M on the building. The state agreed that if there was any failure on the building over $5,000, they would take care of it. Anything under $5,000, it's our responsibility to maintain. So really, we're looking at a cost of about $5 a square foot in O&M for 12 months. Any questions?
It's probably cheaper than City Hall.
It is.
I did have a question, Colleen.
Go ahead.
What I hope that we do, and it should be minimal cost, given the cost savings we're doing on the building, but can we make sure that we use, even if we have to rent them or those kind of things, some of those big orange VMS signs that says we temporarily moved down the street, and we put one out front so that if somebody shows up to the front door, they don't walk all the way to the door and say, oh, whoops, I'm in the wrong spot. We can put a big sign out front that says, if you're going to West Jordan City Hall, you're at the wrong spot, go down the street. And then when they go down the street, they see a big sign that says, this is the temporary West Jordan City Hall, you're in the right place. You know where I'm going with that? I hope that we do that because I think that's moving out of the building. That's going to be a very big priority to communicate people who are used to coming to this building to direct them someplace else and not have just an 8x11 piece of paper posted on a door or we put it on a Facebook. I want this, if we have to rent, if Dewey Reagan's got a mobile billboard that's 25 feet long, I don't care if we rent that and put a mobile billboard up. I just want something that says down there and then something that says you're here. And then when we get done with this in a year, we can say, go back. You know what I mean?
Yep. Yeah. We are working with the communications team on some appropriate verbiage for those things. Do you necessarily want the orange or just something that shows?
I think it needs to be within what our ordinance allows personally.
That's what we're working on in the signage at the temporary building to make sure that we meet the ordinance and that it says that this is the temporary West Jordan City Hall.
But I do agree with Vice Chair Green. It can't be just a piece of type paper on a door because that's really frustrating.
The communications division is working on a whole communications plan as part of this transition.
Perfect.
Yep. So, all good points.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, Ms. Stack.
Thank you, Council. I'm gonna give you a quick update on the process that we've just completed to select our clinic provider, but first kind of give you some background. As the council and the staff worked on some of our challenges in the last couple budget years, we knew that one of our primary focuses was really, or the council's primary goals was employee recruitment and retention, but that balanced with our financial stewardship as well. So during our process, our budget process for 2022, we talked to you about some of the benefit enhancement opportunities that we may have with self-funding our health insurance plan and having a dual strategy with bringing an on-site clinic on board. We agreed that we would do one at a time so that we could kind of phase this in, especially as we were approaching the remodel for City Hall as well. In April of 2022, you approved our plan for self-funded insurance, and that has been going very well. We'll give you a financial report in the next month or so on that and where we stand. But in May of 2022, the council approved the City Hall remodel and identified the space that the clinic would be located in. And in September of 2022, we issued an RFP for a clinic provider because we know that we want this transition to occur not slowly per se, but maybe more in a phased approach, that we would select the clinic provider, that they would have some input on the space as it was being built out with the City Hall remodel, and then also time enough for us to select a provider that's right for us. So we received 4 responses to our RFP, and they were all very good, and we selected the top 2 finalists. Those top 2 finalists happened to have clinics. Both companies had clinics in the Phoenix metropolitan area, one in Mesa, Arizona, one in Goodyear, Arizona. So they're on opposite ends of the valley. But we identified that as an opportunity to really see those clinics in action and see those providers, that the clinic environment that they provide. And so our benefits administrator, Diane, Derek, our HR manager, myself, and Corbin flew to Phoenix for not even 24 hours. What were we there? 12 hours in and out. We came in the morning. We met with Mesa, Arizona for about 3.5 hours, toured their clinic, and met with the city staff at Mesa as well, asked all of our questions. So we met with the provider, we met with the clinic staff, and we met with the city staff to just kind of ask them, how's this working for you? We did the same thing in Goodyear, Arizona. Then we quickly got back to the airport and flew home. That was very insightful. There was some incredible value that we received from that tour. And it really did solidify the decision, actually opposite of what we thought we were going to make off of paper. So very glad we did the clinic tours. Our goal was to provide service at the beginning of next plan year. So we're hoping to have the clinic up and running. So we're going to have to, in the next several months over the first of the year, start getting a provider online. So if we can go to the next slide real quick. We did select the provider and we've awarded a contract to... Oh, there it goes. Thanks. You're like, look. On-site care. There are several benefits to on-site care that we found, but one of them that was kind of an little golden nugget under the rock is that they are an independent subsidiary of Steward Healthcare, who has a great presence in our community, and there's a strong contributor to our city. So we're happy about that partnership and are happy that this provider has that partnership. They have been providing workplace-based clinics now for over 15 years. They have 25 clinics in 6 different states and clinics all along the Wasatch Front for 10 plus years with 15 different clinics. 8 of those 15 clinics currently participate in what they call the Alliance. And that means that if you are nestled with PEHP as your claims provider or your claims contractor, which is who we have, that you can opt into using the clinics along the Wasatch Front that have opted into the Alliance. We may choose to opt into the Alliance. We may choose not to. We're still in that decision process. But it is an opportunity that they provide to us to have several clinics there along the Wasatch Front, both in the southern area and the northern area, from Ogden, I believe, to Orem. Next slide. We're currently working with the on-site care staff and executive team are working with Isaac on the clinic build-out requirements. There's several things that you might not even be aware of that need to occur, like there needs to be a water shut off if we're going to do any kind of drug testing or those kinds of things. So they're working with him now, so it's a great thing to have them on board now. They will begin recruiting a provider for us in early 2023, and we will be starting that interview process to select a provider. In our tour experience, the provider was the biggest pivot to whether you will have a successful clinic or not. That provider needs to really talk to your employee base, to your culture, and you'll see that we named at the bottom of this presentation purposefully. One of the things we also learned is that they all call them wellness clinics. It feels much better to go to a wellness clinic than have to go to the doctor. So, there was a lot of nuances that we learned, and we were really happy about some of the out-of-box solutions that we also identified. So thank you for the opportunity to bring this enhanced benefit to our employees, but thank you also for being able to balance that with our financial sustainability. So I can answer any questions.
I have two.
Sure.
First question is, with this alliance that you're looking at, one of the reasons why we were looking at this clinic is to reduce utilization on our healthcare.
Correct.
Is that still, if we were part of that alliance, would that ding our healthcare, or would we be okay because we're paying it and you could just go to the close clinic and you'd be okay?
Correct.
Oh,
That's
I like
exactly
that.
right. Yeah.
Second question, did you go to Waffle Inn to lunch when you were driving from Mesa to Goodyear back to the airport? Did you go to Waffle Inn?
To
Or
what?
Waffle House, I'm sorry.
Oh, the
For-
Waffle House.
Did you go to Waffle House for lunch? No, I'm just
If
kidding.
you want to ask us if we ate, we did not, because Corbin always had us running from one place to the next. So we ate at the Shake Shack at the airport right before it closed.
Corbin, you drove past the Waffle House and didn't even stop?
Such a taskmaster.
We didn't even get Dr. Peppers. We were all dying, but we did our duty.
We'll make it up to you somehow.
Thank you.
Anything else?
That's all. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Stuck.
Chair, both Denise and Isaac praised their staff, but I just want to call them out for each one of these department heads have really gone above and beyond in the last month, taking on extra assignments and extra hours to make sure we're prepared for the clinic next year, and we've made this change to the temporary city hall. Numerous late nights, early mornings, extra time on top of all their other duties. And I just want to thank the two of them. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, next on our agenda is a public hearing for ordinance 2247. It's a rezone of 1.27 acres from high-density multifamily to SC2 zone for Promontory at the Highlands located at approximately 5700 West and 7800 South. Taylor, did you want to speak to this?
Sure. Thank you, Chair and Council. I'll try to keep it quick. This is just we go to the next slide. This is just a small sliver of property. It's about 1.2 acres, which needs to be rezoned from high density residential to the SC2 zone to allow for the Home Depot project, which we're hoping to bring forward probably early next month for approval. So there's just a small sliver there we can see on the map that has a zoning that's not appropriate. It's over the parking lot, but we just want to get that rezoned so we can approve that site plan and subdivision and get Home Depot on its way. With that, happy to answer any questions you might have.
Any clarifying questions for Taylor? If not, I'll open the public hearing. If you're here to speak on this, please either come to the podium, or if you are online, raise your hand in the chat, or if you're joining via telephone, push *9. Seeing none, I will close the public hearing and bring it back to the council for discussion or a possible motion. Councilmember McConaughey.
Not seeing any other lights, I move to approve ordinance 22-47.
Second.
I think Kayleen got it first.
Beacha. We have a motion by Councilmember McConaughey, second by Chair Whitelock. Roll call vote, please, Cindy.
Thank you. Councilmember McConaughey.
Aye.
Vice Chair Green.
Yes, I want a Home Depot on that corner.
Chair Whitelock.
Yes.
Councilmember Bloom.
Absolutely.
Councilmember Pack.
Yes.
Councilmember Worthen.
Yes.
Councilmember Jacob.
Yes.
Thank you. That motion passes 7-0.
It's one of the toughest things we've ever had to face.
Sorry that was so hard, Taylor. Next up is City Council, Council Office Report. Mr. Anderson.
Yes, I just wanted, number one, to update the council. A couple meetings ago, you had appointed a couple people or nominated a couple people, individuals, council members Zach Jacob and Mr. Bart Barker, to serve on the Jordan Valley Water Conservancy Board. I did communicate with Mr. Mike Maurer in the governor's office. The Senate is not doing any of the advice and consent until they begin their session in January. So the governor reviewed the names. I've not heard back yet, but he's reviewed the names yesterday. And then he's preparing the paperwork for advice and consent to occur at the beginning of the legislative session. So I don't expect any movement on that until the session begins. Second thing that I have is I will be sending you an email. We've included some enhancements in PrimeGov for different users. We've created a legal department role for all the attorneys to have, so they can look at items before it comes to them and after it's gone to them, just so they can have input during that process. We've also created a similar role for department heads, so they can monitor what's going on in their departments. We're also adding a couple features to the city council role and the planning commission role, so that you can look at meetings and be able to access the agenda forecast. So you can look at your items as you submit them. You'll also be able to see others' items as they're getting assigned to the agenda by leadership, and I think that'll be very beneficial for you. It doesn't quite give you access to the packets right now, but you will be able to see where things are on the workflow, meeting dates. As long as we've plugged meeting dates into the calendar in PrimeGov, you'll be able to see those agendas and where they are in the workflow. And so those are some things we've been working on. Cassidy has been working on the amendments that the Planning Commission are making to the general plan. We're also going to begin meeting with the Council Rules Subcommittee on Friday to go over some amendments to council rules that help strengthen our implementation of PrimeGov. And we're fairly soon, Cindy has been spending the last 2 or 3 months. Part of our agreement with PrimeGov is, since the change in form of government, that the prior agendas under the old way pre-PrimeGov would be implemented within PrimeGov. And so we're pretty close to having that wrapped up. It's a lot of work to get PDFs and get them in the format that PrimeGov needs to be able to import those into the PrimeGov system. But hopefully by the end of the year, you will be able to use PrimeGov to access all the packets from 2020, 2021, and the first 6 months of 2022 prior to us using PrimeGov. So it gives some historical perspective, and you'll be able to make notes, search them, and have all that information. So I just want to publicly thank our staff for the hard work that they are doing to get this all rolled out. And that is my report for tonight. Thank you.
Thank you. Now we move to City Council reports or remarks. Councilmember Jacob.
Thank you. I just wanted to kind of update the council. I've been going for walks around my neighborhood, and I walked through Maple Hills Park a couple of evenings and several evenings over the last few weeks, and it is entirely gratifying to see how well it's being used and how many people are just loving it. It is going to be I think a flagship park in the city. It's really, really nice, and it's getting a lot of love, well used. So Corbin, please pass along to the park staff and everybody who helped facilitate that it is much appreciated, and it's gonna wear out before we thought. No, it's not gonna wear out, but it's being well loved, and the neighborhood sure loves it. We're grateful for it. So thanks.
Vice Chair Green, and then Councilmember Bloom.
My comment was directed at, or a couple of them are directed that it's great that we're moving so fast on the clinic. Thanks to the staff that have done that. I think that's going to be a great way to recruit and retain employees, but a great cost savings measure too. I think that's gonna be great. The second thing, thanks, Isaac, I know Isaac's staff has been busy. Please, I want to recognize him for his efforts in getting this, you know, I know there were a couple of us that suggested temporary city hall a long time ago, and it's funny, we had to do it, and the state building came into play perfectly. So sometimes it's better to be lucky than good, but I'm glad we take that because, you know, based on what I've seen where I've worked, if we didn't do that, our construction would have run into next fall and not finished up on time. And so I am super grateful for that. I appreciate all the staff effort that has gone into, because I know what it's like to say, I got to get this project done, and you don't care what time it is, and you got to get it done. So, thank you to Mayor Dan Corbin, you and your staff. The other comment I'm going to make is it's about dang time you got the assistant city administrator posted, and I hope we get to meet him or her soon. Corbin's laughing; he knows why. I'm glad that that's going, and that we'll have an assistant city administrator to help us. So when Corbin flies to Phoenix, that we have somebody in his place, so that we can rely on. So. Thank you for all three of those. That'll be great. And thanks for what all you guys do for the city.
I also want to echo my thanks to our staff. Incredible for all the hard work you guys have been doing for us. It's much appreciated. And last week I had a chance to do a ride along with the fire department, or more sitting around the table eating food than anything.
That's
but
what they always say.
that they cooked a great meal for me, and I think they have solved every single one of our city's issues around that table. So no, it was really great to see the perspectives, see, what they're working with, and they're, being budget conscious, and it was so vital to be a part of that discussion that night, and really get to know them, and what their concerns are, and vice versa. So I can't wait to do it again. And then Halloween, I think we had about 60 kids come by our house, and it was really great for the most part. Most of them were pretty good, and I think we have some really great people in our city.
I just want to share that I got a text from a friend in another neighborhood, actually a neighborhood that we've talked about a lot this fall. And she just wanted to let me know that the police were there on Halloween night, and that they were interacting with the children and passing out treats, and how much that neighborhood loved it and the kids loved it. So great job to the police department. They were very happy. So, it's good that, we've had a sour and now a sweet. So that's awesome. This is something I just want my fellow council members to mull around in their minds. I am the person that goes to Western Growth, and it used to be a much more useful coalition, we feel, than it maybe is now. Prior, the mayors met in that meeting. Now it's usually just our good mayor that shows up. The other mayors don't, and I have a feeling that's because now the mayors that used to come to that coalition have their own mayor meeting. So kind of think about it, and if you have any ideas, like if you think we should keep doing it, if maybe it's past its time. The one thing that I will share that I think is very helpful that occurs through that is the legislative roundups during the legislative sessions. But really, the other meetings, attendance is lacking, and I know the chair's struggling for what do we want to discuss next. So if you'll just think about that, and if you have input, give it to me so that I can relay it to that committee, I'd appreciate it. Councilmember Worthen, did you have anything you wanted to share?
Yeah, I'm good.
Okay, thank
Thanks.
you. All right.
I'm gonna move to adjourn.
Second.
We have a motion by Vice Chair Green, a second by Councilmember McConaughey to adjourn. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, I call the meeting adjourned and say that at 7:49, even if you're on the bike with the mayor, you could still make a Top Hollow burger.
And you guys got away with the shortest city council meeting we have had in the last 9 months or a year. So you guys got lucky.